Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gamer Time Podcast. My name is Matt. Of course, I'm always joined by over here, Mr. Big Al Mosius. What's up, Big Al?
Hey Matt, how you doing today?
I'm good. And we've got our special NBA analyst on board here, Mr. Cam. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. Yes, and that is the reason we are here today, because the NBA is back. Today marked the very first preseason game as the Lakers got their butts spanked by the Brooklyn Nets. Not many of the stars were playing, but yeah, it was nice to see Anthony Davis a little bit for one quarter. But anyway, we're here. We're back. Gamer Time is back. It's been a couple weeks, but last you heard us, we were talking about football, and now we're talking basketball. So I just want to have everybody on as far as like a basketball NBA season preview show. Let's start with biggest surprise. Big Al, what is going to be the biggest surprise of the season?
Well, Matt, if we're talking in terms of teams here and who's going where and whatnot, I'm going to say the team you're looking at on my hat will make a big step, big step in determining the NBA season, and we'll get into more of that later with my predictions. So I think the Bulls will make a big turnaround.
Okay. Yeah, no, they made some moves. Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan. They kept Zach LaVine on a big deal. They've got a decent, I guess you can call that a big three. They got Nikola Vucevic from Orlando last year. Chicago's looking decent. There's a chance they could be a playoff team. I don't know how big of a jump you're predicting, but we'll see about that. Cam, what do you think? What's your biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise, man. I gotta agree with Alex, man. The Chicago Bulls with That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, no, I mean, with the moves that they made, getting Lonzo Ball, DeRozan, I mean, they're going to be good defensively. They're going to be a pretty solid team. My only concern is, the scoring, because, look at their starting lineup. None of them are really shooters. Zach LaVine can shoot pretty well, but, they may struggle a little bit in that area. New players on the team, chemistry, but I think they'll make the playoffs. What seed, that remains to be seen. But I agree, man, with Big Al on this one. Definitely the Bulls.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a little bit of a wrench in there, and my surprise is actually going to be a negative surprise. And Big Al's going to love this one, because I think it's going to be the Sixers are going to fall off the cliff. I think that there's going to be the whole drama with Ben Simmons right now. It isn't. I don't know if that helps. It depends on the trade. Obviously, in order to get rid of them, they need to make a trade, and whatever they get back, you never know. They could strike gold, but yeah, to me, it doesn't look very good heading into camp, like with all the drama right now. And Embiid is great. Don't get me wrong, but I think the help around him isn't getting much better. So. Yeah, I actually have the Sixers falling off, and possibly if they make the playoffs, most likely a first round exit. So that's my prediction. So
they'll make the playoffs.
Right.
They'll be in the playoffs. It's the Eastern Conference. They'll make the playoffs.
Okay.
Matt,
okay.
Yeah.
Matt, you mentioned about the trade for Simmons. Honestly, the only way I can see him still being even more competitive is if somehow they got Damian Lillard. But other than that, they're going to be up and down. So we'll see.
Personally, I don't think Ben Simmons is going to be enough to get Damian Lillard. You're going to have to throw in a bunch of other pieces. But
yeah,
yeah,
that would be on my
Okay, so let's go to awards predictions. Let's start with Rookie of the Year. This might be difficult, but who do you have as your rookies of the year? Big Al, you go.
Well, Matt, I was up and down with a few players here, but I'm gonna go with Davion Mitchell, the guy out of Baylor who went to the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
He averaged at Baylor, he averaged 16 points a game, and just coming into a new system like that with some leaders of Orlando there, I think he can definitely shine. And just some of those other guys that I saw got drafted in the first 5 picks, I'm not quite sold on them yet, so I'm going to stick with a good player in Baylor, Davion Mitchell.
Cam, do you got a rookie of the year prediction?
Well, me, I don't really follow, the players before they hit the NBA. But just looking at some of the guys that are in the league, I believe the guy that's playing on the Houston Rockets by the name of Jalen Green, could be a potential rookie of the year. I mean, he's going to get all the playing time in the world with that team. I mean, especially if they trade John Wall. So the spotlight is going to be on him and Christian Wood. I mean, obviously he's not a rookie, but just by the amount of playing time that he's going to get as much as he needs. So I mean, I look at stuff like that, and I think there's another guy plays for the Magic, if I'm not mistaken. One of the rookie that they sign.
Yeah, that's who Big Al was just saying. The one that I was thinking of was the second pick, Cunningham in Detroit. He to me, based on what you're saying with the Rockets, that's what I'm trying to think of as well, because like you talk about some of the other pieces that the team has when they draft a high rookie like that. And to me, the Pistons got nobody else. Like, I think Cunningham's going to have to take as much shots as he possibly can. But yeah, you're right with Houston. Like, Christian Wood had a great year last year, and if they do keep John Wall, then I think their rookie has to kind of fight for some carries. I guess the word would be, or dribbles or whatever, possessions. But I think in Detroit, there's pretty much nobody else. So I think Cunningham is my pick. But yeah, I that's kind of what I based my prediction on as far as how much he's going to touch the ball. So, yeah. Okay, so let's go to sixth man. Jordan Clarkson is your defending sixth man of the year. Big Al, does he repeat?
Is that more of like the most improved player type of award, or
the sixth man is the best player who comes off the bench?
Okay. I'll be honest, man. I didn't really study up on this one.
Okay. All right.
I don't think he will repeat, to be honest with you.
Okay. He's got a teammate who is actually in the running too. To me, I forget the guy's name. Is one of the Bogdanoviches, I think. Yeah, there's like 4 of them, but to me, I thought he was a starter. So that's why when I heard that he was also in the mix, I was confused. But if he starts more than he comes off the bench, then yeah, I don't know. But Clarkson is more of your traditional off the bench, first guy off the bench. So you could think of Carmelo Anthony. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, Cam, what do you think?
I was gonna say Tyler Hero. I don't think he's starting because they got Kyle Lowry there, and they like to play Duncan at the 2 guard position. So expect Tyler Hero to come off the bench, and I think he struggled a little. He struggled a little bit last year, but he really shined in the bubble. But I think certain players, they progress over time. I think he'll be good. He'll provide a lot of scoring off the bench, a lot of instant offense. So I'm gonna go with him and probably Clarkson at as second. But definitely, I think Tyler Hero is gonna get it.
Yeah, I think Hero is still only like 21 years old or something like that. So he's very young and only on the up at the moment. So you're probably that's a good pick. That's a good pick. I wasn't even thinking of him. Okay, so Actually, I just want to throw this in there. It quickly came to my mind. The Knicks got Kemba Walker, so I think that moves D Rose to the bench. That would be an interesting pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. Defensive Player of the Year, Big Al. What do you got?
Well, obviously there's a lot of good candidates out there, but I'm gonna stick with the guy who improved his game the most from that NBA Finals last year, and really took his game to the next level, and he's still gonna do that now. The Greek Freak.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like him to keep on defending and doing his thing.
Okay. Cam, defensive player.
Defensive player. Oh man, it's a toss up between. I mean, I know Rudy Gobert's been winning it every year.
Yeah.
So probably him, and I'm thinking about Anthony Davis too, man. You got Dwight Howard there, so those two are going to be a force in the paint. Anthony Davis. Have you seen him over? Excuse me 1 second. There we go. If you've seen his transformation, I mean, this dude's bulked up big time. So I think he's on a mission. He's actually going to be another one of my picks when we get to that later. But I'm thinking Anthony Davis, man. It's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually pretty difficult. Like you said, Rudy Gobert, Big Al said Giannis, AD's in the mix. We haven't had a guard or a small forward win it since Kawhi, right? I mean, Kawhi won it like 6 years ago. I feel like we've had big men win it ever since.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the easier player to pick because of the blocks and the rebounds and the force and stuff like that. But it would be interesting to see if we could find somebody, almost at the point guard position. Pat Bev comes to mind, but I don't know if he's I don't know if he's going to get much playing time. I'm going to have to – I think I'm going to have to go with Big Al and probably side with Giannis just because it's the easy pick. He's just, the rebounding is just every year it just seems to get better. And it's amazing because he's not – I mean, he's ripped, but he's not Andre Drummond huge. He's, you know what I mean? Joel Embiid. He's much skinnier frame, but he can still rebound with the best of them. So Giannis is a good pick. AD's in there too. So I don't know. It's a really big toss up. I'm going to have to go with Giannis, but Big Al, the main one, MVP. What do you think?
Matt, before I get to that, just a side note. I did study the sixth man, and I actually was going to say Derrick Rose. I forgot I had that written down. So, you said he might be moved elsewhere since of a recent transaction. So we'll see how that goes. But MVP. How about the guy who is known one of the best on the planet, and because of his toe, lost in the Eastern Conference Finals? How about the man, Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant. Wow. Okay. All right.
He's gonna be on a mission because of that toe and because of how they lost to Milwaukee, and he's just going to be on a mission to get back there, and I think they will. So give me Kevin Durant.
Cam, what do you think about an MVP coming from either the Lakers or the Nets with all of those players? Do you think the MVP has a chance of coming from those two teams?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I was going to say Anthony Davis.
Okay.
There's no reason for him not to win it this year. Like, I think this is because he's like, LeBron's passing the torch to Anthony Davis. Like, he's like, you're the next guy. So I want you to, take that next step. And I think I think the Lakers are on a mission. to win it this year. I mean, when you put a team like that together, I mean, you're doing it to win a chip. I mean, it's not just because you don't want it to just get whoever, but they're definitely on a mission. As far as the Brooklyn Nets, yeah, I would say Kevin Durant. I mean, he played out of his mind towards the end of the year last season, and I think if they didn't have the injuries, they'd probably be the champions right now. I don't think it would have been Milwaukee. I think it would have been Brooklyn with the way Kevin Durant was playing. Just that Harden was hurt, Kyrie had his injuries going on or whatever. But yeah, man, assuming things are normal, we're in a perfect world which we don't live in. I'm going to go with Anthony Davis, man, as my MVP for this season.
Yeah, there's a bunch of interesting curveballs in this season because of not to be political or whatever, but because of the vaccine and players not being eligible to play in their own state. You know what I mean? Like Kyrie in New York, and California requires it. So like the Lakers are all vaccinated up and all that stuff. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see some of the players who can and can't play in certain games because of it. And it sucks. I mean, I hate that. It shouldn't be like that, but it does suck. But yeah, my pick is a little bit different. I always think of the whole, when you've got 2 or 3 superstars on one team, they kind of cancel each other out. But if you do have a player who's just completely blowing everybody out of the water, then yeah, they deserve it. But that's just what I go to. For me, it's actually going to be Luka Doncic. I think that he is just poised to just blow up, and he's already has kind of, but who knows if he can take the next level. I mean, he was playing really well in the Olympics. 40 games there and stuff like that. So he's my pick as far as the MVP, and we'll see how that goes. But okay, so let's move on to predictions for the NBA Finals. There are 2 predictions that I'm going to ask. Number 1, the 2 teams, and number 2, the Finals MVP. And your Finals MVP is going to predict who wins, because most likely it comes from the winning team, unless you have a curveball. But those are the two predictions that I'm asking. Big Al, who are your 2 teams in the NBA Finals and your MVP?
Well, Matt, I gotta say that from the West, somehow, some way, your Lakers will be back in it. And from the East, because of my MVP prediction, I'm going to go there and say Nets Lakers with Kevin being the MVP.
Okay, so you have the Nets winning then.
Yes.
Okay. Cam, what do you think?
Oh man, this is it's usually, I mean, like I said before, in the real world, this would be a very easy question. Lakers and Nets, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the times that we're in with the curveball that we're dealing with. Year 2020, pandemic hits, it shut down the season. We lose Kobe. 20 an hour in 2021. Seasons starting super early. Players not really getting a chance to really rest. So I'm concerned about the overall health of the Brooklyn Nets. Like, is James Harden ready to go 100%? We know the controversy that's surrounding with Kyrie Irving. He's dealing with what he's dealing with, so he might not be able to play in certain games. And if he's not able to play in certain games, that's going to have a long impact, or hard impact over the long term for that team. And I'm not here to give my opinion on that. I know we all have our opinions, but I mean, just looking at the facts, I mean, if he's not playing, that's going to affect that team. If he's not playing, they're not making the NBA Finals. So, from the way I'm looking at things, man, the way I'm predicting the season's going to go, I'm thinking it's going to be Lakers and the Bucks again. Because outside the Brooklyn Nets, no one can do anything with the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis is too big for the Celtics. The Sixers are a mess. The Hawks are up and coming, but they're not good enough yet. And then everyone else is just super young, and then guys are going to other teams. So, I'm thinking it's going to be the Bucks versus the Lakers in the finals. I think the Lakers will prevail in the finals. It'll go 7 games, and I think LeBron will be the MVP of the finals. LeBron, he's getting there towards, he probably has a few more years left in his career. He wants to get a couple more rings,
Right.
and another MVP if he can get one in there, because he's always wanting to be compared to Jordan and all the other greats. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards, man.
So speaking of LeBron and his accolades and stuff like that, I saw that LeBron is 2,000 and change points away from the all-time lead in Kareem, which I believe if Kobe Bryant, when he scored 35 a game in 2006, that was right around 2,000 points in a season. So it would take LeBron a Herculean effort for him to do that this year. Otherwise, he's most likely going to pass Kareem next year. That's going to be really interesting to see eventually, and how long he plays, and how that goes. But another thing to think of, which I'm sure you guys thought of, but the Miami Heat with Lowry and Butler and those guys, like I don't think they beat the Nets, but I do think that would be a very interesting series. 6, potentially 7 games. I do see the Nets beating them, but the Lakers with all their pieces, I feel, are going to win the Western Conference, but I do feel the Phoenix Suns are going to have something to say. Chris Paul is going to be right back in the thick of it. Devin Booker's only going to get better. DeAndre Ayton's only getting better. So the Suns are going to have something to say, but the Jazz are going to be interesting again. If Donovan Mitchell had a great year last year, had a great bubble, if he can take another step, you never know. There's a bunch of teams in the West like normal. Every year it seems like the West is crazy, but I do have the Lakers, and I'm leaning Nets, obviously. I keep thinking the way Cam is thinking, all these curveballs that the outside world is going to throw the season, what's going to happen with Kyrie and the injury status of a bunch of these guys, like Anthony Davis, like James Harden, like Kevin Durant, like LeBron James, if all of these guys can stay healthy by springtime, then it should be Lakers and Nets easily in the finals. Man, I don't know. It's going to be so hard.
Yeah.
I see at least 7 games. It can't go more than that, but I don't see how it could possibly be 6. So 7 games, and I'm going to go Lakers, but it's going to be, I'm going to be dead by the end of it. I'm not going to be able to breathe the whole night. It's going to be so close. It's going to be one to remember. Yeah.
So given the curveballs, you still think the Nets will get to the finals?
I do. I'd like Big Al's confidence in Kevin Durant. I think that he is going to do whatever it takes. And if James Harden can just maybe pull a Kawhi Leonard and just, rest in certain points of the season and just focus on the playoffs the whole year, then he can be healthy by springtime, then yeah, I Brooklyn's going to coast. But Kyrie and the whole his beliefs and vaccine stuff, that's going to be, I don't know. I don't even know if I can predict that. So I think that, I think Brooklyn's going to make it, but it could be interesting against the Bucks, interesting against the Heat, but yeah, we'll see. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. We're against the clock here, but I appreciate Cam for coming on. Big Al, appreciate you for joining. We're getting ready. NBA season is right around the corner. Preseason started today, so you get to look at the players that you've been missing for the next couple of weeks, and then we get into it. So anyways, it's been fun. Big Al, you got anything to say?
Just thank you for coming on, Cam. We appreciate having you talk about the NBA. Not many
Anytime.
Not many people, would like to do that with us. So we're happy to have you on, and we'll see what comes on more podcasts in the future. So thank you for joining, and let's just enjoy these times, man.
Yeah, any of you NBA fans, apologize for the lack of content, I guess, but we should probably hit on the NBA more often than we do, because I'm a huge basketball fan and Big Al follows basketball. We've kind of just been hitting on the NFL lately, but yeah, Cam, we'll definitely have to have you on more often with some NBA highlights and lowlights of the season here and there. So
absolutely.
All right, guys.
Season's the next couple weeks. So
yes,
get
sir.
ready.
Yes, sir. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.